and welcome back to Saw Dog Woodworking. Today what I want to do is show you how I built this workbench. The top is reclaimed lumber. I pulled this out of a dumpster. Well, actually I saved it from going into a dumpster. This was an old workbench from the school I used to work at. It was absolute trash. There was no real saving it, at least not at the school. I was going to throw it away. Instead, because all woodworkers are hoarders, I mentioned that later as well. But I decided to see if I could turn it into something here. And it turns out I can. I've got my trusty bench vise here. This has been on the right-hand corner of every workbench I've had. This was my grandfather's. When he had his workbench, it sat here. My last workbench, it was here. And now this workbench. It's just progressed through the years as a very familiar spot. So I was really happy that I could get this back on. I had another vise over here. I've decided to move that to my assembly table. It is on the assembly table now. It's working out awesome. That is going to be maybe I'll do that as my next video and you'll see how the assembly table was built. The old top of my workbench is now the assembly table top. What I was trying to do is shrink this back. I think I gained somewhere around 12 to 18 inches because the workbench itself was, I think, 36 inches wide or deep, whatever you want to call it. This one's a lot less. And I'm just trying to free up some space and make the workspace flow a little bit more. When I was working here, there's a lot of stuff all around, trying to get cabinets and whatnot up here to really work on those. There was no place to turn things around. There's a wall over there. I would hit this, and this is just the foundation. This isn't going anywhere. I've got some space over here, but because I did like where the bench vise was, that was getting in the way as well. So what I wanted to do was open up, have a full open assembly area that I could move things around, slide, nothing was going to get in the way. And I have that now. And again, I'll show you that later. But today's project is just how I took trash and turned it into a wonderful workbench. So let's get started on that. Okay.
Every woodworker is a hoarder. I've had this pile of crap sitting on my floor really in the way forever. This is a workbench from the school I used to teach at. I was going to throw it in the dumpster, and then I thought, you know what? Why not bring it to my house and clutter up my basement? So I tried finding some good edges here. I had to cut some of the old epoxy off one edge. The problem is my 1952 table saw that used to be my grandfather's, it's getting a little tired. The blade itself was a little dull as well, so that's where all that smoke is coming from. Never a good thing to have fire in your wood shop. So I put a less dull blade on there. That's also a used blade, but not as bad. And it seemed to do the trick pretty well, but look at all those burns. Got some gluing up going on. I invested in a gallon of Tri-Bond wood glue, and I still haven't gone through all of it, but not for lack of trying. So this glue up went pretty well. These boards are nice, solid lumber. They've seen probably decades of use. So they're nice and hardened, excuse me. And I also added a few extra screws in here just to really make sure this doesn't come apart. These will never be seen because I'm going to glue more on top of that. Once all the glue up was done, the next day, had to flip it all around, get all these clamps off of there. And because I added an exceeding amount of glue, probably more than I needed, I took a old wood chisel and got the high spots off just to get them out of the way. Then I'm going to use a 60 grit, just get rid of that, a 60 grit sandpaper on my palm sander. I believe it says 60, maybe it's 40. And then I just spent the next probably half hour sanding all the old glue off of it. That's the beauty of these videos. I can speed it all up. I wish time went this fast. It makes it look so easy. After that, it's picking up the mess that is my current workbench. Now that top that's there is going to become my assembly table. I'll add that as my next video. And you'll see the assembly table in the middle of the shop. The boards that are actually holding that up were from my old house. I think they used them to pour some form for cement. And I turned them into a workbench and brought it with me when I moved into this house. There's my old toolbox. And these drawers my grandfather made. So again, these are well over 50. I mean, he passed when I was 7. I'm 50 now. So these have served me well over the decades. Underneath my workbench, I had these little angle brackets. So I'm just pulling all those out. And there were a lot. So I did go around. Once those are done, I also have my grandfather's old bench vise. And that's got to come out. These are all going to go on my new assembly table. These pieces of 4-inch PVC came in real handy. It used up, or it covered up the wasted space in the back of the bench, and I'd put dowels and pipes and things in there. This beast, I really didn't have any place for it. This is eventually going to become the top of my assembly table. For now, it's just in the way, so I'm just going to add it to the detritus that is my shop at this point. Oh, good. Great camera work. That's Hollywood quality right there. So after the rest, oh, good. More moving around. After really just tearing everything apart and starting from scratch, I want to start the rebuild. I've cut everything down to size. It's a little more narrow now. The top is going to take up a lot less space, which is nice. And I just went to all 4 corners, screwed everything together. Just using cabinet screws, 3.5-inch cabinet screws, I believe I'm using here. And those are going to be nice and solid. So I'm going to just do a little overkill. I doubt I need these center posts, but figured, I had some 2x3s. Why not? The top is really hardwood. The span isn't that wide, so it's probably not necessary. It's all going to be screwed together. But like I said, I had the wood, and I decided to just over-engineer it. And from there, I redid the legs. These are the same legs that were there. I just neatened them up. And once I got them up or all screwed on, it was time to put the top on. Now I want to touch a little bit on these legs. As you can see from where the paint is, the legs used to be on the outside, and now I've moved them to the inside of that workbench. This is actually going to be a problem later on, and you'll see why. But it seemed like a great idea at the time. I thought, oh, get them out of the way. So once that's done, I've got to just make sure that this little back plate is on. I put this on here because if I put something down, it doesn't slide off the back of the bench. Trying to get anything behind this bench once everything is in place it's pretty much a no man's zone, and it's just gone. And now's the time where I get to put everything back together and think, all right, job well done. But remember, I measured the legs and all the stuff that goes underneath it, these drawers and my red toolbox, when the legs were on the outside. Now that they're tucked in on the inside, I lost 3 inches. And by losing 3 inches, my red toolbox no longer fits. Now it's real handy to have right in front of you any tools that I just want to grab while I'm working on the top. Anyway, I had to pull my grandfather's drawers out of there. They just don't fit. This red toolbox, I do, as I said, need to stay there. I grab a lot of tools out of it all the time when tinkering and assembling on that table. But it turns out I had these 2 filing cabinets that I pulled out of a school, I don't know, years ago. And they fit side by side perfect. These are going to be great for holding rags. I also have put in gloves in one of the drawers. That one right there holds a lot of just automotive stuff that I use if I have to work on my own cars. And I actually have an empty one right now that, God forbid, I might actually use for filing. I doubt it, but it's there if I need it. I have no doubt that I will fill it. And that is it done. And that is the mess that I still have to do. But the nice thing is I'm in the future right now. I'm looking at this. This was probably over a month ago of work that I did. And it is almost done, if not done at this point. So once I get all this, once the bench is done, I did want to do a nice top to it. I've never used Tung Oil before, and I thought I'd give it a try. It smells a little bit like tequila and paint thinner were left out in the sun for a while, but it made the bench look really, really nice. It's a nice protective coating, a little bit better than polyurethane. Polyurethane's nice, it's solid, but the problem I have with polyurethane is it makes things slippery. So if I'm trying to sand on here and I put something down, it just slips all over the place. Where the Tung Oil, it's going to protect the wood and make it look really good, but also gives kind of a less slippery surface for me to work on. So this is just the first coat going on. It wants 24 hours between coats. It's just pour on and then rub in with a rag. So this did not take long at all, 5 minutes maybe. And I just hit all the edges, made sure it was nice. And once that was done, it just sat there. I tried to keep it as dust free as I could for the night, and then came back in next morning, did the same thing, hit all the spots, and then it was complete.
Now, I hate doing a handheld video. It's all shaky and whatnot, but it's probably the best way that I can actually show you what the workbench now that it's done. So the top still looks really nice. It's a few dings and scratches and whatnot. Your typical workbench, and that's fine. Got my place for pencils and pens and whatnot. Put up place for my drills and my batteries. And I actually have a video on building this at some point. And this was just a nice little shelf that I made out of some leftover stuff. Place for my tape measure, keep my safety glasses, and anything that I want to be able to reach for right away. So, and down below, you know, you saw that in the video, what a pain this was, but I've got my toolbox and everything that I need where I'm going to be working right here. It's just an arm's length away. I have my rags, I have a box or a bin for gloves. And as I said, that over there is for just automotive things. I don't work on cars a lot, but the nice thing about being able to do a lot of things is if I need to, I can. I've saved, I don't know how much money, just being able to fix things. They say necessity is the mother of invention, and being broke is really a good way to learn how to do pretty much everything. So I've turned, you know, $800 repairs into an $80 repair. It was worth it. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're not automotive. This is my workbench. I'm really happy with it. New color, as you can see as well, makes everything nice. Maybe I'll throw a video together later today, and I'll show you the progress that the shop actually made from start to finish. Anybody that's interested in getting started or just organizing their shop, I'll put that together, and you can see the journey that I've had. I've been working on this for, God, has it been 4 months already since I left school? It's been 4 months. It's October now. Tomorrow's Halloween. And I've come a long way. It is pretty much ready, and I am ready to open and get this business running. So pretty exciting. Anyway, please like, please subscribe. I see people are viewing these videos. Don't be shy. Say hi. Leave a comment. The comments are open. I'll be happy to talk to anybody. I'll get back to you, and let's start building this community together. But like and subscribe more than anything. I would really appreciate it. And until the next one, have a great day. Bye.